What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
Right here. You can get across. Hold on. Here. Yeah, hold on.
All right. Congrats, Rachel.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion, but the reality is she's just not stable.
And you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie, and I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
Rachel Zegler has officially gone silent just days after Disney allegedly demanded financial compensation for the disastrous Snow White failure. The troubled actress has reportedly vanished in the spotlight, both literally and figuratively. Sources now say she took an international flight and landed in Dubai, sparking serious questions about what she might be avoiding and what exactly she's trying to safeguard.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable. There's some clip of her on the internet in her Snow White outfit saying, "Every hour I am in the outfit of Snow White wearing the dress. All 18 hours, I deserve to be paid for every single one." Oh, really? Are you having trouble paying your bills, Rachel? Did Steven Spielberg not pay you for your role in West Side Story? Did Disney fail to give you a healthy paycheck for, cry me a river. She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Fans are shocked. Industry insiders are buzzing, and Disney is reportedly furious. This sudden disappearance follows massive backlash, viral outrage, and behind-the-scenes legal tension. Insiders reveal that Disney executives were already weighing their options, ranging from enforcing morality clauses to cutting bonus payments, when Zegler quietly vanished from Hollywood. No press, no appearances, just a disappearance that now has people questioning whether this is more than a PR break. Could it be a calculated move? What's driving the speculation is the timing. Zegler left right after reports emerged that Disney held an emergency meeting to assess her possible responsibility in the Snow White disaster.
Alex, what has been the reaction to Disney's latest expensive own goal?
Well, the reaction has been absolutely horrible. It is the worst box office from a Disney live action remake that they've ever done. And
I mean, they're projected to lose between $200 and $400 million on this.
The thing that really shocks me about this story, Disney and all these media companies, they invest hundreds of millions of dollars into these projects, right? Have they ever thought about maybe a little bit of vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing before you go and hire some Zoomer who's a lunatic?
Some believe the studio is gearing up for legal action, while others think quiet negotiations may already be in progress. But Zegler's silence, combined with her abrupt move overseas, has fans wondering, is she avoiding media, or is she trying to escape something more serious, like legal trouble?
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
Right here. You can get across. Hold on. Here. Yeah, hold on.
All right. Congrats, Rachel.
And here's where things get even more suspicious. While her team claims she's simply taking time to reset, social media sleuths have been connecting the dots, pointing to something deeper. Deleted comments, private jet tracking, and a wiped travel schedule with no clear word on when or if she plans to return. The questions are mounting by the hour. Has Rachel Zegler truly gone off the grid, or is she quietly escaping from Hollywood's biggest brand? Disney is reportedly in full-blown damage control mode, and the situation is unraveling faster than anyone expected. After the massive failure of the much-hyped Snow White remake, which some insiders say could lose up to $250 million, high-level executives are said to be scrambling behind the scenes. One of the most explosive rumors, that Disney might be pressuring its lead actress, Rachel Zegler, to help cover the financial fallout.
This woman shown here is not the actual woman playing Snow White, but the woman playing Snow White is named Rachel Zegler. And she and Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, were caught on the red carpet. This is actually from September of 2022, but it's resurfaced now because the movie's coming out, talking about what we should expect from Snow White.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Oh my God.
Nobody
Who
wants
wants
that.
a movie about true love? What kind of woman do we want out there seeking true love, Eliana? The outrage.
According to several insider reports, the studio held a private, closed-door meeting following the film's opening weekend. The main topic, whether Rachel Zegler's controversial behavior leading up to the release could be considered a breach of contract. Her press tour included plenty of eyebrow-raising moments, from dismissive remarks about the original 1937 film to political comments that alienated a significant part of the fan base. Insiders say these weren't just PR blunders. They might have violated specific promotional clauses in her contract. If the rumors are accurate, Disney could be weighing options like reclaiming bonuses, canceling back-end deals, or even seeking partial repayment. One anonymous source at the alleged meeting quoted an executive saying, "She burned down $1 billion brand with her own words." It's a harsh take, but one that, according to insiders, was met with quiet agreement around the room.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap, great dude. It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows?
What's perhaps most striking is a possibility that Zegler's public apologies, meant to soften some of her earlier remarks, may not have come from her directly. People reportedly close to the situation suggest that Disney's internal PR team stepped in to handle the fallout, carefully crafting the apology and instructing her to post it on her social media. The wording, tone, and timing all felt unusually polished, leading many to believe it was more about managing optics than showing real remorse.
There was an in-depth piece, like a behind-the-scenes piece, talking about how they've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now, and how they had her tweet out like a little, "Yay, Snow White, can't wait, so excited, I love to play her." And she did it and got like millions of views, and they were like, "Good job, Rachel." And then she, like, minutes later, followed it up with, "And never forget, free Palestine."
In fact, some fans felt the apology came off as corporate, almost robotic, lacking the emotional depth and authenticity people expect from a genuine personal statement. There was no real vulnerability, no clear acknowledgement of specific missteps, and no heartfelt connection with the hurt or disappointment of longtime Disney fans. It read more like a press release than a sincere apology, and that didn't sit well with audiences who were already feeling alienated. Social media erupted with speculation. Threads popped up analyzing sentence structure, comparing the wording to standard crisis PR templates, and highlighting similar phrases used in past controversies managed by major studios. Hashtag began trending, not in support, but in criticism. Many users felt the post only confirmed their belief that Zegler was being tightly controlled by corporate PR, rather than speaking for herself. Whether that theory holds any truth or not, one thing became obvious: the damage wasn't undone. Instead of calming the outrage, the apology seemed to deepen the divide. For Zegler, it added to the growing perception that she's more of a carefully managed face of brand than a relatable, authentic figure. And for Disney, it may have backfired, further cementing the idea that the studio prioritized image over real accountability behind the scenes. Industry chatter suggests Zegler is heartbroken over how things have unfolded. Some insiders claim that Zegler has broken down in tears multiple times, struggling to grasp how quickly everything unraveled and how fast public opinion turned against her. There are quiet reports that her team has been working nonstop to contain the fallout, but morale within her circle is said to be at an all-time low. Just a few months ago, she was poised to become one of Disney's brightest rising stars. There was talk of spin-offs, franchise tie-ins, and a full-scale marketing push. Zegler was expected to be the face of a new chapter in Disney's live action, Industry analysts had labeled her one of the most promising young talents of the decade, with major crossover potential and the possibility of international fame. But now everything has changed. Insiders describe the current situation as a full-on reputation collapse, with Zegler scrambling to maintain key relationships and salvage what's left of her public image. Rumors suggest even her own team is split, some pushing for a bold comeback plan, while others are quietly looking at long-term damage control, which could mean staying out of the spotlight for years. In just a matter of weeks, Zegler's Hollywood dream has reportedly turned into a textbook example of PR gone wrong. The emotional weight, paired with growing career uncertainty, may be taking a serious toll behind the scenes, especially with Disney still dealing with backlash and the threat of financial consequences. Her role in this high-stakes drama is over. The Snow White remake was meant to be a guaranteed success, with massive budget, nostalgic source material, and a modern twist. Disney had hoped it would follow the success of hits like Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin. Executives believed that the legacy of the original animated classic, combined with updated storytelling, would turn the film into a box office powerhouse. Early projections were strong, with some analysts predicting a record-breaking opening. But critics argue the final version strayed too far from what made the original so loved. Instead of honoring the tone, charm, and emotional heart of the 1937 film, the remake reportedly tried too hard to reinvent everything, leaving longtime fans feeling disconnected. Audiences were disappointed by changes to key character arcs, the absence of iconic scenes, and what many described as a lack of magic. Zegler's press appearances only added fuel to the fire, seen by many as dismissive, even hostile, to the classic tale. And it wasn't just what she said, but how she said it. Social media quickly became a battleground. Her remarks about the prince being a stalker and calling the original Snow White weird sparked outrage, painting her as someone who disrespected Disney's legacy. What could have been received as thoughtful modernization instead came off as tone-deaf and arrogant. Hashtags like #Dodge, #Boycott Snow White began trending, and with every new interview, the situation seemed to get worse. Fans weren't just upset, they felt insulted. Commentary videos, fan edits, and reaction compilations flooded YouTube and TikTok, breaking down every moment from Zegler's interviews. The mood quickly shifted from disappointment to outrage, with many accusing her of being out of touch and disrespectful. Both longtime Disney fans and new viewers voiced frustration, saying the film felt like it was made by people who didn't understand or even appreciate the original material. The backlash reached a boiling point, and the PR crisis deepened with each passing news cycle. Things got worse when old political posts from Zegler resurfaced, including a tweet criticizing Trump supporters and wishing them harm. That post reignited controversy and further divided audiences. For Disney, whose films depend on mass four-quadrant appeal, this became a marketing nightmare. Suddenly, the Snow White remake wasn't just a movie. It became a cultural flashpoint, with Rachel Zegler at the eye of the storm. Despite multiple efforts to contain the fallout, like scaling back her press appearances, limiting red carpet access, and even cutting interviews short, the damage was already done. The film's opening weekend numbers fell well below the studio's expectations, leaving executives shocked and scrambling for answers. Initial hopes that international markets might help soften the blow quickly faded, as global box office numbers remained lukewarm at best. What was once expected to become a worldwide hit barely stirred excitement overseas. By the end of its first week, industry analysts were already calling it one of Disney's biggest live-action misfires in a decade. The numbers weren't just underwhelming. They were historically low for a film with such a large budget and brand recognition. Compared to other Disney remakes, Snow White ranked near the bottom, failing to tap into nostalgia or star power. Trade publications began publishing headlines labeling the film a financial cautionary tale, suggesting the fallout was only beginning. And now, the blame game is in full swing. Some insiders are pointing fingers at the marketing team, criticizing the promotional campaign as inconsistent, confusing, and lacking the original film's magic. Others are focusing on the script and creative direction, arguing that it strayed too far from the spirit of the beloved fairy tale, turning away loyal fans. There's even quiet frustration aimed at top executives for approving such a bold reinvention of a legacy property without proper audience testing. But as the dust begins to settle, more and more the backlash seems to be falling squarely on Rachel Zegler's shoulders. Whether fair or not, her high-profile presence during the film's rollout and the controversy surrounding her comments has made her the most visible target. According to industry whispers, Disney appears increasingly eager to put distance between the brand and its embattled lead actress. Some insiders believe this is a calculated move to protect future projects, while others see it as a quiet acknowledgement that the damage may be beyond repair. In Hollywood, perception is everything, and rumors suggest that multiple upcoming projects, which once considered Zegler for lead roles, are now taking a second look. Producers are reportedly wary of the backlash she might carry, and unsure whether audiences can separate her from the Snow White controversy. As for Zegler herself, she's gone completely silent. No new interviews, no public appearances, and no statement since the initial fallout. Her sudden and unexplained withdrawal from public view, especially with the swirling talk of an international escape, has only fueled the speculation. Commentators are now debating whether her silence is a smart PR strategy or a real emotional retreat from an overwhelming situation. Adding to the mystery, sources claim she's vanished completely. No social media activity, no behind-the-scenes sightings, and no leaks from her once outspoken inner circle. Some believe Rachel Zegler may be under strict guidance from her legal team, instructed to avoid any further public appearances, especially if legal action is quietly being considered behind the scenes. Others suspect she's seeking refuge with close friends or family, trying to regroup away from the chaos. Meanwhile, fans remain deeply divided. A portion of her audience believe the backlash has gone too far, arguing that Zegler is being unfairly scapegoated for a project that had serious issues long before she ever stepped in front of the camera. They point to corporate missteps, not her interviews, as the real root of the problem. On the other side, critics argue that her repeated public remarks were careless and that the fallout is simply a matter of accountability, something that comes with the territory at her level of visibility. In the end, her silence says a lot. Whether it's part of a calculated pause or the result of deeper emotional turmoil, her absence in the spotlight is impossible to ignore. The longer she stays quiet, the more speculation grows. And with every passing day, public curiosity only intensifies. Whatever she does next will likely shape not only the future of her career, but also how this entire controversy is remembered. So now the real question is, what happens next? Will Zegler stage a comeback with a redemption arc? Will Disney officially cut ties? Or could this all end in a legal showdown that shakes the industry? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. What do you think? Is Rachel hiding something, or just trying to survive a PR nightmare? Let us know in the comments. And if you want the latest updates on Hollywood's biggest scandals and celebrity drama, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because this one is just getting started.